Hello everyone. In this video, I would like to share with you some of the most valuable things that I have learned through our research paper project. To be honest, before this project, I hadn't really given much thought to the stylistic devices that authors use in their writing. I was always more attentive to the content rather than the style. The author I chose for this project was Lois Lowry, and the works I decided to focus on was the Giver Quartet. As I was reading through some of my favorite passages from these books, with my focal point being what stylistic devices Lowry used, I found myself being drawn in by her use of similes and personification. As I was developing my thesis, I asked myself, how do these devices affect me personally? I found that I was being drawn in by how the implementation of similes and personification made Lowry's writing clear and relatable. Lowry used similes and personification to communicate abstract concepts and make them concrete by comparison. One of my favorite similes is from Messenger. The branches seem to reach for me, she said. They are like knives. In this passage, we are suddenly aware of the imminent danger that this woman is in. We would not know just how dangerous it is without the use of a simile. If Lowry had simply said, the branches seem to reach for me, then the situation would not seem as dire as when she compares them to the feeling of knives. I was not able to see this importance, though, until I took the similes out. Once I took them out, I just saw how abstract the passage became and found a new appreciation for the bridge that similes build from abstract to concrete. It wasn't until I was rewriting my conclusion for the third or fourth time that I realized the practical application that similes and personification have for me. In my paper, I discussed how Jesus even used similes and personification to communicate theological concepts in his ministry. Arlen J. Holtgren, in his book The Parables of Jesus, says, the parables are thoroughly theological, but they do not get involved in descriptions of God's attributes or in theological discussions about God. What is characteristic, rather, is God's sense of familiarity and intimacy through the use of striking but common metaphors. The concreteness of these metaphors keeps the discussion from abstractions. As I was thinking about this point, I realized how, as a Christian, I can do the same thing. When I'm presenting the gospel or any other theological concepts, I can use similes and personification to communicate abstract concepts and compare them with concrete concepts. Thus, I can more effectively share the gospel. I hope that this has been encouraging and that you would consider using similes and personification when communicating abstract concepts.